friends, this is Music Man from his man cave, and today I want to address the question, should Christians, followers of Jesus Christ, watch R-rated movies? It's a very good question. It's a legitimate question, a question that has been asked many times. As I've talked with people that I know and people in church and around with friends, and here's the conclusion that I come to. First of all, I think it's very subjective. It's according to the content that is in the movie. Some R-rated movies are some of the most powerful messages of Jesus Christ that's been put out on film. And so an example of that would be The Passion of the Christ, Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ. This is a powerful movie. In fact, this movie, I think, realistically, went as far as any movie has ever gone, as showing how graphic and brutal the crucifixion of Christ Jesus was. However, according to the Bible, he was completely, by the time he was crucified and he'd gone through the whole ordeal, he was completely unrecognizable. And Jim Caviezel was recognizable. Now, if this would have been anything but a Christian movie, this would have been probably NC-17 because of the graphic nature and the brutality of the beating that Jesus received. So once again, Christians in droves went out to see this movie, yet it definitely deserved an NC-17 rating. What that means is that probably most Christian children should not see this movie. Even teenagers probably can't handle this movie, most of them, if they've lived a life where they've been protected by their parents and they've been taught to guard their heart and their mind. And so to be subjected to this movie could be traumatizing for them and could actually completely mess them up and make them have nightmares. So once again, subjective. And then also some of the most powerful films I've ever seen on history and about God's chosen people have been R-rated. And an example of that would be like Schindler's List. And when I was growing up as a kid, there was lots of television shows on about the Holocaust. And I remember one where a little baby was suffocated to keep the baby quiet so that people could live, and just the horrible conditions they went through. And so I wasn't real popular on the Holocaust, but this movie is by Steven Spielberg, is amazing, starring Liam Neeson or Qui-Gon Jinn, and starring Ralph Fiennes as just a murder and butchering man, just killing Jews because of they just don't view them as human anymore. They basically have gotten to the point, they've been brainwashed by Hitler to the point where they just see them as cattle to be herded and slaughtered. And so a powerful movie, rated R, and NBC put it out special, and with the parts that of sexuality were darkened. So that's the first thing. It's subjective. It's according to the movie. Is it Christian friendly? Does it show things that are glorifying Christ, or is it showing things that are horrid and something you probably shouldn't be filling your mind with? And so you have to ask yourself that question. Is this something that glorifies Jesus Christ? The second thing is many people that carry on about these movies, these rated R movies, they're not half as bad as the TV programming that's on every day, and even the commercials. I would say that TV programming that says it's TV-14 is definitely rated R, and the things that it promotes is definitely anti-God, and it's definitely anti-Bible. In fact, I'd say our whole television culture is now anti-Christian, and it's anti-God. And so if you watch that, you'll see things promoted there that the Bible explicitly says, no, you're not supposed to do this. Any sex outside of marriage is according to the scriptures, is completely wrong and should not be done. But it promotes that every day. Girls dressed in ways that maximize the female form, lasciviousness. Look those words up in the dictionary. Making people lust. That is on all the time on TV. Non-stop. And then even the commercials. Now they use the Lord's name inappropriately. There's profanity in every commercial. So I hardly even watch TV anymore. I mainly watch Netflix, or I choose my own movies so that I can kind of decide if I need to stop it or if I need to fast forward or so forth. Or if the movie, I think it's getting inappropriate, I use the remote control and I will move it past. I will not dig to the bottom of a garbage can to get a kernel of corn. I'm just not going to do it. The third thing is a fact is that most Christians watch rated R movies already. According to the Barna research, about 89% of Christian households watch R-rated movies. What does that say about our culture? What does that say about the church? Some very alarming and very concerning things. And it makes us wonder where we're going in America when even people that are supposed to be holy and righteous are basically going and walking into these movies and supporting the very thing that is tearing American families down and sending mixed messages to their teenagers and their children. The final thing is it's really none of my business what somebody does in their home. Paul addressed this. Any Christian can go to an R-rated movie and they're not going to lose their salvation. The issue is are you becoming a possible stumbling block to somebody else who may have a problem with some of the topics that are covered in these movies? And that is a question each one of us have to ask as we watch movies. I have no problem if somebody in the privacy of their home, without making a spectacle of it, decides they're going to drink a beer. But if they're sitting in a local pizza joint and they're proclaiming to be a follower of Christ, and everybody knows that alcoholism because of drunk driving, it kills. It killed one of my friends in high school. It killed a precious girl right here in my town. She was just walking by the road and a kid was drunk and ran her over and killed her in the street. So that tells you how I feel about alcoholism. And those kind of things, R-rated movies with the drugs and the beer and the sexuality and all that, the pornography. A lot of R-rated movies are really low R. PG-13 now is moving into R territory. So you have to think these things out and make your own judgments. But you also need to think about this. Would you sit down and watch this with Jesus Christ? And if the answer is no, if you would be ashamed to sit down and watch it with him, according to the scriptures, he already lives inside of you by his Spirit. And so that is something that you really have to digest and you have to think about. So just some food for thought. Should Christians watch R-rated movies? Most of the time, no. Those movies are not worth your time. There's better things that Christians should be doing. But there is subjectivity to it, and movies that I personally like and that I embrace because they have such a powerful Christian message, and a message of love, or a message of standing up against the wrong and standing for the right no matter what. And fighting in a war that gave us our freedom. And it was definitely rated R because of the war violence. So just some food for thought. Music Man signing off from his man cave. Careful what you watch. Take care. Bye.